unchanging hand. Trust in Him who will not leave you. Whatsoever the years may bring, when your earthly friends forsake you, still more closely to Him cling. Everybody on the hold on to God. Everybody on the hold on to God. He's not feel your hope from faith. Turn and then hold on to God's unchanging hand. Listen, trust in Him. He won't leave you. No, He won't.
Surely we turn ourselves to Thee, O God, being upright to Him who created the heavens and the earth, and we are not of the polytheses. Surely our prayers and our sacrifices, our lives and our deaths are all for God, the Lord of the worlds. No associate has He, and this we are commanded, and we are of those who submit. O God, Thou art the King. There is no God but Thee. Thou art our Lord, and we are Thy servants. We've been unjust to ourselves, and we confess our faults. So grant us protection against all of our faults, for none grants protection against faults but Thee. And guide us to the best of morals, for none can guide to the best of morals but Thee. O God, bless us as Thou didst bless those before us. In the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen and amen. And thank you for tuning in to the Universal Science Church of God worship services. Welcome, welcome, and may we say something here to encourage you or to alleviate your pain or just bring you closer to our Lord and our Savior Jesus Christ. Tonight we are scheduled to talk about why is the government against the nuclear family, part 2. I know on the title you see why is the government stating that the nuclear family was a mistake, but I wanted to go into more detail on why the government is just I get it. Why the government is against the nuclear family. And so we're going to talk about that. And a lot of us really, we know the answer to that, but it's just I guess it's hard to believe that could be so, but it shouldn't be hard to believe, especially in the black community, because in the black community we just got so many one parent, single parent homes, mainly being the headship of the family is the mother. Now, I'm not saying that a mother, go ahead. I'm not saying that the mother can't be a mother, but it's hard for a mother to be a father. See, that's just like I'm very observant even of our children, and I noticed how my daughter, Joan, she's 13 years old. She was named after my grandfather, J.D. Hunter. She's J.D. Newman. And I noticed how when she got a mama situation, she talked to her mama. When she got a daddy situation, she want to talk to her daddy. And you wonder why would a person want to deprive a child? You know, just like a lot of us, we grew up in the houses that without our father being at home. And why would we go and repeat this vicious cycle? We want to talk about our daddies. If my daddy wasn't around, if my daddy was around, I could be this and I could be that. But then we'll turn around and we'll go and have children, no husband, no father in the home, and still talking about our daddy. So what you think that child thinking? That child is, in other words, you know, you living a lie. You talking about what your daddy did. Now you and your children observing you, and what first thing gonna pop to their mind is the same excuse. See, people love to have excuses on why this and why that instead of looking at that person in the mirror. See, if you take a hard look at that person in the mirror, you could probably solve a lot of things. But a lot of people find it convenient to look around and point at people that don't have anything to do with their life. Was I in your life in the beginning? No. Was I in your life all your life? No. You know, so how can you fault somebody for your life? You know who you got to fault for your life? You was with yourself from start to finish. And this is why we are talking about why is the government against the nuclear family. And one thing that I find one thing that really upsets me a lot is the government is subsidizing my civil rights, first of all, which are not being enforced for me. They're subsidizing black people's civil rights, and they're trying to create a balance through homosexuality, which is an abomination and equal to us as black people. Now, you might say, what do you mean? What I mean is, you got, notice how when they say the LGBT, this is how black people feel. I heard Buttigieg one night say, now he see how black people felt like a stranger in their own land. He gonna compare his butthole with me and my people. And we ain't got no black leaders. Cause see, if we had black leaders, he wouldn't have enough nerve to say something like that. And if he did, they would check him. And so, and that leads me over to a conversation that I've been listening to a lot. Matter of fact, a couple of conversations. But one conversation I wanted to talk about was something that I heard the Sunday morning shows seem to be hyping on. And they was talking about Kanye West. All of us know Kanye West. And how he's an anti-Semite type of a person. And, you know, see, that's why I'm not a person that's with groupthink. See, when you with groupthink, you don't think. Everybody else think for you and you go along. See, I'm not the kind of person that get in a group and just start going along with people. That's why I didn't join sororities. That's why I didn't join a lot of things, because I'm an independent person, independent thought. I like to be reasonable. The main thing, I like to be godly. When I make my decisions, I make my decisions from God. And they was talking about Donald J. Trump, who I'm so tired of them talking about. I'm so tired of listening to him, because, you know, Donald J. Trump should be in a lot of our rearview mirror. And they was talking about how much Trump shouldn't have had Kanye and this somebody they want to claim as a white supremacist. He shouldn't have had him at his house. And I got to thinking. I said, well, this is what Minister told me first. He said, well, it's a funny thing that they talking about Kanye, but when Kanye was saying white lives matters, do you know you notice they didn't say a word? I said, not a peep. They didn't say one. Matter of fact, they was glad. And then as he said that to me, then my mind opened up to a little bit more. I said, wait a minute. Everybody's so busy talking about Donald Trump. Shouldn't have Kanye over there. And I got to thinking about, I think with everybody being into some form of groupthink, everybody done forgot. Kanye went over there to make Donald Trump his vice president. And I hear people talking about he better not have Kanye over anymore. I don't think you need to tell Trump that anymore, because you know Trump is very serious about trying to get back to the White House. So I don't think he gonna have Kanye. You don't think you need to tell him not to have Kanye over there anymore, because Kanye was over there. Everybody he's an anti-Semite. You so busy talking, you forgot the whole object of the whole conversation. Kanye was there based on he gonna make Donald Trump his vice president. Do you remember that? Oh, now you remember. And that's what I'm saying. And I understand about the other statements he made after that. And then I kept listening to him this morning on these Sunday shows, and they act like they were so mad. You know, it's funny when white Caucasian people try to pretend like they mad about something. They act like they were so mad. He's an he got a mental illness. Look, he got that mask on his face. I got to thinking. I said, Now, he got a stocking cap over his face. And he still, Kanye, he just named himself Ye. He ain't named himself no woman name now. They say he crazy because he done changed his name. I said, Now, a white man can go and cut his penis off. Deuteronomy 23 said, you ain't going to enter to the kingdom of God if you do that. Can put a wig on. Can put on 5 pounds of makeup. And then say he a woman. He could be Alexander, and tomorrow he could be Alexandra. And everybody sit there and act like it's normal. You know, they are transgender. So, which one is the worst? You saying Kanye? I knew there was Kanye behind that stocking mask. And that's not the first time Kanye ever pulled a stunt. I remember when the awards night, he ran up there and snatched that microphone and said, Beyonce needs this award. You know, you act just like this is, like smoke coming out your ear, like this is the first time Kanye has pulled a stunt. But anyway, Kanye just named himself Ye. Well, that's a part of his name, I guess that's how he named it. And he just had on a stocking mask. He wasn't trying to say he was no woman. You know, Kanye been through a lot. His father-in-law is his mother-in-law, and his mother-in-law, I guess, is his mother-in-law. And you saying he got a mental illness, and here you got a man that cut his whole body part off, put makeup on, put a wig on, put 5 pounds of makeup on, go put on a dress, say he Caucasian, and say he's a marginalized person now. 1 minute you privileged, now you marginalized. And everybody just sit there and just talk to him like it's normal. What you think about this problem? Now you talking to somebody that got a parent problem about a worldly problem. And not only do this man put on makeup and sit up and talk crazy, this Caucasian man, now he won't saying that because we not paying him no attention, he gonna molest our children. Well, okay. Everybody say, okay, go, if you want to be a woman, then go on be a woman. Then he ain't satisfied with that. You know. He got to feel like, now he feel like since you want to be smart, but he can go and be a woman, he gonna molest your child. He gonna get your attention no matter what. And so this is the kind of world that we're living in, you know. We're living in a world where crazy people calling people crazy. And that's not me defending Kanye, because I don't defend nobody that, like, I feel like he's been blessed from every standpoint, from a financial standpoint. But I just, you know, I just got to comment on, you know, when he was saying white lives matter, I think that's crazy. But you thought that was fine. Now he's saying something else. You say he's an anti-Semite. And the only thing he was saying was, you know, he want Trump to be his vice president. Trump ain't got a snowball chance in hell to be president. This is what he's saying. And you have looked over that whole purpose of that whole meeting just to sit down and explain to me. Who you explaining to me about who's crazy? Do you know who I think is crazy? See, Kanye is a black man, and black men, you know, and I heard Trump say he's a troubled man. Well, you know, Paul, before he became Saul, then he became Paul. He was a troubled man. He would get up in the morning and go and cut up Christians, persecute Christians. You know, God can do a lot with a troubled man. God can do a lot with a troubled woman. But that's what I mean by, now Donald Trump calling him a troubled man. Who more troubled than Trump? You know, he came out there, took the nation by storm. God gave him the best opportunity that a person could have that never been in a seat. And he out there talking about Jesus Christ is a hoax. You know, who would believe that stuff about some Jesus Christ and Noah's Ark? And so, see, now, you know, they was all against people bowing down to the flag because they say it's injustice. My personal thoughts about the flag was, I always have thought a person can do what they want to do if they feel injustice. I didn't see anything wrong with it. But Trump said that they was what? Sons of bitches, right? And so, I guess I'm saying all that to say that now he's saying he want to tear up the Constitution and the flag. You know, look how far we have come in the last 4-5 years. He's saying he's a troubled man. Well, Kanye have always acted like that, as far as I'm concerned. But you know, I tell you, I was sitting up. I always sit down and try to think of things like creative light. I said, wait, I was looking at the Bible the other night. I said, well, there are 66 books in the Bible. I said it should have been 67. And the reason why I say it should have been 67, there should have been a chapter named hypocrites. You know, and that's what I'm trying to basically say. We got so much hypocrisy in this world. You know, you got crazy people calling people crazy. You got people that's supposed to have sense acting crazy. You got people, you know, 1 minute the Democrats talking about Russia. The next minute, that's where they identify as. I'm just going to say they identify as Democrats. Then the next minute, the Republicans are election deniers. In this world, the only thing I see in this world, if I had to add a book to the Bible, it would be hypocrisy. Because that's this world to a T. You know, people say one thing and do another. Now, you thought Mitt Romney, he supposed to be some type of pastor, elder in the church, right? Now, he over there voting for same-sex marriage. And then you got people going out, voting, talking about, well, I'm going to vote Republican. Well, for far as I'm concerned, you just got people that identify as Republicans. You got people that identify as Democrats. See, Democrat, the name Democrat, it came from the word democracy. And you know it ain't no democracy. You know, I got my first lawsuit in a Democrat town, Selma, Alabama. I think you all got it listed on the historical civil rights movement. This is what everybody, I think that's how you identify it. Because I know it ain't no civil rights down there. And I got my first indictment from Selma. First black, this was done under the first black mayor, James Perkins Jr., the first black district attorney, Michael Wayne Jackson, ex-district attorney, Michael Wayne Jackson. First black judge, Marvin Wayne Wickens, circuit judge. He was the first black circuit judge there. And, you know, when people start talking about the Democrats and the Republicans, see, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have two parties. We got one party, and that party is called godless. That party is called godless. And all these people are hypocrites. If I had to add one more chapter to the Bible, it'd be number 67, hypocrites. And that's what you see. You see a bunch of idolatry worshiping hypocrites. And the reason why the government is comfortable with saying that the nuclear family was a mistake is because they have what you call subsidiary organizations that promote this. Child Protection Services, the National School Education Organization. They got the churches, they got the ministers, they got fake news, they got now they got surgeons. Now they got surgeons. Now they got medical doctors. Now they got psychiatrists and psychologists. They got a whole array and plethora of organizations that's helping to promote that the nuclear family was a mistake. But let me tell you something. While you sitting around building the government up, the government, you keep tearing away at the nuclear family, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. One day, everything going to come crashing down. See, the family is the solid building block for the whole society. I don't know how many times I got to keep telling you this. How you going to have a government without people? How? Okay, you finna separate. You say a woman is not a woman no more because a white man, he's the trans woman. He fixing it. You know, he the new woman on the block. He the new bitch on the block. Okay. You say that a heterosexual male is toxic. Okay. So if all this is so, now you saying that the new nuclear family is two white men adopting children. Who they gonna be adopting children from? If the man and the woman. See, in other words, you sitting around in the Congress and the Senate talking about you finna codify same-sex marriage to make sure that it don't get overturned. Well, let me tell you something. It's being overturned in heaven right now. It's being overturned. Matter of fact, it never had a turn in heaven. Two men never had a chance before God of Almighty. Marriage is a sacred institution that God gave to man and to woman. And that institution is so sacred, and God fixed it. He knew about you fools to be walking around here talking about you a sissy, you a man, and this man, two men, one of them a woman, one of them a man, but you're supposed to be same sex. Same means identical. How you gonna get two men in a relationship and one of you start talking about you a woman and one start talking about you a man? See, same sex means identical sex. You from the same sex. But see, God already knew about all this foolishness you was gonna do. That's why He fixed it where could nobody deliver a child but a woman. See, can't nobody do that but a woman. And that process can only take place is with she with a man. And so you can sit up and pretend like you a man. You know, it's a shame the way Caucasian people act. You all on TV, sitting around like you a woman with a mustache on, and talking. And ain't nobody saying you mentally ill. Kanye go there, and put his stocking cap on, and you tell, oh Lord, he lost his mind. Kanye changed his name from Kanye to Ye. Oh, I know he crazy now. You got a white Caucasian man that changed his whole name from a man to a woman, that changed his whole, and cut his dick off, and changed his whole identity, and you said, well, he transgender. But if Kanye go put a stocking cap on and just be Kanye and change his name, now he crazy. He need to go take some medicine. He out of control. You know, you the one that whoever in the hell has authorized all this bullshit in the ministry, you are the one that's crazy. You are the one that's crazy. The government could not be doing this without these ministers. And you got to really understand that. The government would not be in no position to do what they are doing. You know, how the government way over trying to touch. I heard Biden talking about he gonna send the FBI and the CIA out on these ministers. I would like to know what minister beside us he gonna send them on. I don't see no ministers talking about what's going on in the community but us. So I guess he talking about us. Send them on. You know, because I look at it like this. I'm so tired of this bullshit that you all are talking about. And I'm really serious. I'm sick of it. Send them on. Maybe that'll be, maybe you'll be just like, you know, I look for something very bad to happen to this country. I mean, very bad. You sit on TV, you know, you sit on TV like you really think that you somebody, don't you? Tell them, well, you know, America has always came through. Okay. So you think you can sit here and molest children, castrate children, cut their breasts off, cut their penises off? You actually, do you know you done hit a note in heaven? When you sin, you hit notes anyway, but when you mess with children, everybody know this. Everybody know this. When you mess with children, that's a whole different category with God. That's a whole, not saying that a homosexual don't hit a note, but if a person sit up there grown, come on, he a woman, God said, I turn them over to a reprobate mind. You in the school messing with 4 and 5-year-old children, talking about ain't nothing wrong with drag queen story hour. I see a lot wrong with it. First of all, did the parents authorize that? Why they sneaking around reading to people children? First of all, did the parents authorize that? If the parents don't want that, that's all need to be wrong. And, you know, I know you all that been following us know about the situation with us and CPS and our daughter. And, you know, it feels like, just like me, I feel unnatural talking to you about my family problems. I mean, normally, you know, your family problems, and that's how I was raised. Keep your family stuff in your family. But see, what made me come public with my family, or my family situation, because our people had enough nerve to come out on Front Street, get over with the district attorney against us. So see how the dynamics of that change. The same family you come from that teach you to keep your family business with your family business, they help drag your family business out in the public. And so, and anytime a community allows homosexuality to seem normal, it's going to create many unnatural situations, especially for people of God. See, this is what homosexuality do. Just like you're saying, wow, we never seen the world like this. Well, we ain't never seen men walk around. You know, I see them all on the internet, all on TV, talking about they got to go get a tampon. You know, first of all, that's why I know you damn fool, you're not a woman. Let me tell you something about menstruation. Menstruation is like a private thing to us as women. That's not something, you talking about you a woman, that's not something that we as women talk about. You know, that's embarrassing to most women. You know, a lot of women won't even let their husbands get their tampons. A lot of husbands don't want to get them. You know, they got Caucasian men on TV, on YouTube, opening up the thing and pulling it out and showing where they gonna put it at, and they think this is. I'm a woman though. See, I might not have. We got them on the internet talking about, well, you know, I'm still a woman even if I don't have a vagina. I just got a little budge. You know, they think this stuff is funny. Yeah, they say, well, I'm still a woman. I don't have no vagina. But what I got is it's just a little budge. You're right, it's little. See, and that's the problem. Look like y'all should have been working on that instead of working on you gonna cut the whole thing off and become a woman. You can't be no woman. You crazy maniac. You can't be no woman. And that's the point I want to get down to. These white folk all on TV this morning, all on the sun. Oh, Kanye, just blowing smoke. Ain't saying nothing about these white men, Caucasian men. They just sit there and talk to them like it's normal. Well, you know, I need to know why they messing with these children. Then the homosexuals say, yeah, I'm finna lead the LGBT community because I'm not a groomer, but I'm a homosexual. I like men. Well, yeah, that's good. I mean, they actually be having these conversations on TV. Now, to me, that's crazy. But they're saying that Kanye changed his name, that makes him crazy. But when a Caucasian man changed his name from a man to a woman, he transgender. Kanye covering up his face. You putting 5 gallons of paint on your face. You transgender, but he cuckoo. Everybody said he need to take his medicine and go to the cuckoo house. Well, anybody will go crazy sitting around here looking at all this crazy stuff. This is some crazy stuff people are coming up with. But then this man got children. You know, anybody would be concerned mainly about their children, because a person just automatically know, I ain't worried about you making no sissy out of me. A natural man will feel like I'm not, but when it comes down to your children, and you know, I guess I don't know what's bothering him, but I would assume that's bothering him, maybe something concerning his children. But I guess the main thing I want to say about the situation is, what in the hell are you all calling crazy now? You know, first you said, last week you talking about a criminal is a black man. You got all these Caucasians that hung black men from trees. You the descendants of these people. You say this was 157 years ago, therefore you ain't got nothing to do with it. Who told you that? According to the Bible, you say you a Christian, you a conservative. According to the Bible, God say punishment goes up to, I go down to 4 generations. You know. And then you don't know what God consider a generation. You might consider a generation 10 years or 20 years. God might consider one generation, because those people were smart back in those times when it came down to the number system. But God might consider a generation 100 years, just one generation. We don't really know how God, but he said he go up to 4 generations. Because remember what he said. He said 1 year is like 1,000 to me, and 1,000 is like 1. So we don't know what God considers a generation. But my point being, what you mean by you ain't got nothing to do with what your forefathers did? What you saying I got something to do with what my daddy did? What you ain't got nothing to do with what your daddy did, your granddaddy, your great-granddad, your great-great-great. You got everything to do with it. See, everything that you say that you judge me with, that's what you got to be. That's exactly what you're going to have to be judged with. Just like the things I say. I got to stand on the things I say. I can't say what you need to be doing in one area, and then when the area hit me, then I'm saying, well, you know, sis, it's me. And that's basically what Trump is doing. We was complaining about the Constitution. We was complaining about law and order. He said everything was fine. Now that it's hitting home with him, he want to burn up the Constitution and the flag. But see, when everybody else was talking about all the injustice, and when I said, I don't mean everybody, I mean black people. When we were talking about what was going on, especially with my daughter, she was taken out of home when she was 13 years old. This was almost 7 years ago under Donald J. Trump's administration. And to add insult to injury, his old wife, Melania, she said she got an organization called Foster the Future. She finna help CPS. The only thing CPS do is target black and brown people. Yeah, they talk. They have a few white people in there, but you know how that goes. You know who they really after. They got to get a few white people to try to pretend. That's just like I was reading the other day. I was this man 74 years old. You know, he's suing the VA. You know, we've been talking about the VA all up on the Donald J. Trump, just steadily trying to explain. Ain't no systemic. Trump came out. Ain't no systemic racism. Ain't no systemic racism. And here, this guy, his name is Conley F. Monk Jr. He's suing the United States of America because for decades there have been reports and widespread suspicion of racial discrimination in the VA programs against black people concerning their disability compensation, education, housing since World War II. He also is filing a lawsuit in the behalf of his father benefits. His father fought during the time Minister's daddy fought during World War II, and he said they denied his father his benefits. His father did 20 years, and they didn't give him a dime. And he's filing in the behalf of his father, and he's filing in the behalf of other veterans, and he's asking for reparations. See, you been getting around here laughing, hee-ha-ha, and all over the place. I heard this one man out of Alabama, Tuberville, said that these people, black people, want reparations. That's bullshit. You bullshit. So you all think you can keep doing stuff to people and you're not going to be made to pay. But I'm going to tell you one thing. You going to pay. You going to pay one way or another. I don't know exactly how it's going to be, but I know one thing. You gonna have to pay these lawsuits off that we got here. Now you got to pay reparations off to the veterans. You gonna have to pay for that 1994 crime bill that was signed by Bill Clinton, and Joe Biden is the one that really advocated for it. Hillary Clinton said that we were super predators. That 1994 crime bill, slavery reparations. You know, we do everything. That school to prison pipeline that came through my era. A lot of my friends dropped out of high school. As a matter of fact, I dropped out of high school. It's by the grace of God that, you know, God blessed me with grandparents that helped me and pushed me to get on my feet and move forward. School to prison pipeline. You gonna pay reparations for that. Now you sitting up here in the black community talking about black children finna be homosexual. They took my daughter out of the home just to recruit her to be a homosexual. Last time we talked to her, she said she's a homosexual now. A homosexual is old nasty cracker, white man. You know, a woman just can't just be, you know, what they claiming that a woman. See, it's a difference between a woman and a man even in that arena. Women only doing that because you a punk. If a woman had a man, a woman wouldn't even go that way. Know why a woman doing that? Because you a punk. And now they see you a punk. You right here cutting your dick out talking about you a woman now. Oh, I'm a woman now. I'm a woman. I'm a trans woman. And then they want me to, they saying now that when you have babies and you breastfeed, you can't say breastfeed, you gotta say chest feed. And they want you to say chest feed for a nasty white man because he ain't got no breast. They saying this discriminating against the trans woman. I don't want no, this is ridiculous. Now they got people talking about, well, these are my siblings. No, that's your brother and your sister. They don't even want you to say brother, sister, this is my parent. No, that's your mother and your father. That's male and female. God made it clear. God is not a God that make mistakes. He made it clear. He said male and female. You know why he made it clear like that long time ago? Because he knew your idiotic, faggot behind would be sitting up here right now doing what you doing. Then you got Joe Biden now. Don't nobody really know who running the White House. You know he ain't running nothing. Now he out talking about people better stop talking about the LGBT. First of all, they not no LGBT, they homosexuals. Okay? But anyway, the point I wanted to make was Minister up under Barack Obama, he was trying to get his benefits, right? But I think Obama did this. They wiped all his records out. He would go to the VA to try to get his records. They said, you not no veteran. They would actually tell him that. It happened under Obama's administration. And what do you do about a black person that do stuff like, let me rephrase that. A person that identifies black. What do you do about stuff like, we already got problems with Caucasians. Now they got another arm that they use, which is a token, black person, so-called black person. And just like this man, discrimination, so they said they have pulled a lot of people cases and stuff, and they found out that it's just overwhelmingly how they have deprived them and their families of the care and the support and the faithful service that they had earned. And this guy said him and his family was homeless on the street. This man right here, he created an organization too. They was on the street and he done served this country, just like Caucasians. And then Minister said during his time, Caucasian was going to Paris. He don't know where they didn't come from now, talking about they finna get benefit. Minister said they used to send them off to Paris, like Trump. See how Trump dodged the draft? That's what was going on during that time. But now, how can they dodge the draft and run back in and say that they go ahead?
But what gives me like Minister, bring just to think about that kind of stuff. When you got black people out in the public, trying to say there's no such thing as systemic racism. See, the problem now is it's just disgusting that it had to get to this point in order to point out that we need to get paid in order to stimulate the American economy. And then what really gets me personally is a third, it could be as much as a third or maybe a fourth of our people are interracially mixed with Caucasian. They should be helping black people get reparations just based on that. Like before the Mayflower. The Mayflower, I'm telling you, this stuff is true. I don't know if anybody read Before the Mayflower, but see, as Caucasian, as this land between white and black, it has elevated itself to a great. Caucasian people should know enough about. I'm talking. They would even benefit. They benefited from the civil rights movement, but that was the wrong kind of benefit. Caucasians stand to benefit from paying black descendants of slave reparations. We never had a black president. Obama is not a descendant of slaves. Obama is not born. His soul doesn't even possess the same thing as our souls possess. Our souls possess, like when we be, going along with stuff like Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus was a Caucasian, for as I know. But at the same time, he's the one who started. That's how we started. That's how America started. But now we helped build this country. I mean, seriously speaking, I think one of the main reasons is this new generation, because black people was responsible for raising Caucasian people. And now they don't raise a generation that go around just tearing up stuff. You know, I mean, they don't do. They just don't. You know, they don't act like men. You know, they don't act like. You know, Americans. We're here to save the entire planet. You know, look, we come through slavery and still talking about this world. We came through slavery. You know, Obama, he's just a sister. You know, and then he come out telling he's the first black homosexual president in Time magazine. You know, that's a disgrace before God. And then Caucasians supposed to be the majority. They trying to help build him back up. They're here already decimated the black community. Now Caucasians supposed to be majority rule, but maybe this would be the first time that majority cannot rule because it's foolishness. It's a bunch of foolishness that will not prevail. Not in Be America. You know, we just not here for a purpose like that. That's not even in the cards. And right now we don't have a party. We're looking for, now me and Milson have, you know, different views about certain key factors. But I'm pretty sure that the Caucasian people need to find a heterosexual, since everybody want to go into this undercover homosexual stuff. It's time, and Martin Luther King is homosexual. All these mega ministers now homosexual. The FBI know it. It's not a secret. And the results of it is right there. You know, we got a history. You know, we're not thinking of talking in the blind. We just, as being descendants of slaves, we don't have an interest in America to want to portray to the world that we don't even know the difference between a man and a woman. That's not our interest in America. Period. That's not our interest in America, period. Like when I was drafted into the military, they told me if you're a homosexual, you don't have to go to the military. And then only thing I did was raise a child in a Christian way, the best way that we know how. They took her and gonna make her homosexual, and she's 13 years old. And with me, don't have no benefit from the military, but I did get an honorable discharge. Now they gave me a check with that. That's like they, you know, it's like if I had got that before.
First of all, they didn't give you anything.
They paid me some of my money, but at the same time, if they had paid me,
they owe you almost $1 million.
If they had paid me beforehand, my daughter might not have even had to succumb. They might not have been able to take my daughter like that. They violated her civil rights. I didn't march across the bridge. I was there when King was there in Selma, Alabama. I was raised in Selma, Alabama. I went to Hudson High School, and then the only problem I saw when I was going to Hudson High School was Perkins was a homosexual. His dad, you know, like the one that's a mayor there now, his daddy was a homosexual. So a lot of my people turn out to be. Why is that black people in leadership positions is homosexuals? You know, that's the reason. And then these Caucasian homosexuals. That's the reason why this country owe money. Can't nobody live right. You know why? Because you got to have law and order. And the first, I thought, well, you see what Obama did. He in Time magazine talking about he's the first homosexual. He ain't got no business even been connected with black people here in America. And right now, him and the biggest homosexual on TV, Anderson Cooper, is talking about bam. You know, I mean, and the government, you see, it's the government's duty to not allow this government to become a communist or antichrist government. Like when I was drafted, they raised, you know, they taught me, drilled me from people in the military, from government officials saying we are Christian soldiers marching off the war with the cross of Jesus marching on before us. And all these guys are gay. You know, yeah, I know for a fact, you know, people get drafted in the military. They don't be doing that walking the street. You know, ain't doing themselves no good. But they gave their life for this country that we might live as decent human beings. We don't have no leaders. Now I just begin to understand why death is prescribed for people, because if people didn't die, it wouldn't be no war. Look at all these old people now. These old people, they fulfilling the Bible. Once a man, twice a child. They were just old and nothing. They ain't got no respect for their own children. And Caucasian people should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of all this technology around the world, and they portraying themselves they don't know the difference between a man and a woman. As if that's really something to even talk about. And Biden got, our children being molested right now. They took my daughter out of home, and I don't have no warrants. I ain't broke no law. They just saying, well, your daughter is supposed to be a homosexual. Really. But I guess, but we are all a part of God's plans. But we're just here to explain. Don't get confused about what's happening, because it's going to, and I don't want to say what nobody else say. You just see.
Well, I wanted to tell you something I saw just before we came up here. On the news, I know you all heard about Gavin Newsom is pushing the reparation thing. I'm glad. Guess what they talking about on the news? Well, there's a lot of white folks got discriminated against because of race. I'm saying, always that's you all though. You every time black people always take the back seat and let white folks do whatever they want to do. Anytime a black person, it's time for us to come up. Here you come. I saw a lady on TV come dragging her butt in the chair, talking about, black people might not really know this. They came up doing my say, it's a lot of us got discriminated against. I had some black friends and white folks discriminated against me. I think I should be a part of the reparation pact, because I stayed friends with those black people no matter what. They dead and gone now though, but a lot of us white folks were discriminated against too. You know what I'm saying? You always, that's just like typical. But then the people, me sitting there, listening to the news now, just like Minister just said, black people always they just creeps. Some black people are just creeps. I'm just gonna tell you. Some black people are just straight up creeps. Black people always come dragging their black behind up, talking about something they're gonna hit. In other words, all they got to do is get up and walk around the corner. And what they talking that ain't happening gonna happen to them. Okay, they sitting up on TV today, white folks now, talking about my business. I know they have to talk about what they have to talk about. Dr. Nicole Saffron, I never forgot what she said on Outnumbered. She said that black people had a propensity toward violence. See, I follow people along on what they say. Now she's saying that the reparation is fundamentally flawed and emotionally appealing. That's what I'm saying. You always got some type of LGBT. That's just like the LGBT making up words for them, and they just homosexual. They always got some type of word to try to say that, we as black people don't deserve nothing. That's what she basically saying. It's emotionally appealing, but it's fundamentally flawed. And they got some old Negro, and his name is Dwayne Williams. He said he see the GOP party as symbolically making the statement, you have to pull yourself up by your boots. And he said everybody has boots. Now let me show you what he doing. Remember Dr. King said that's racist to be saying to pull yourself up by your boots when you ain't got no boots. Now see, this Negro now, he talking about everybody got boots. Now everybody don't have boots. But why is it that black people, they always act like little creeps? Some of them. I'm not talking about all black people. I'm talking about these black people that's so-called educated. Why do you have to be a creep? Who asked you anything about everybody got boots? How you know everybody got boots? He called himself thinking he's smart, because if you read Dr. King's speech, then you will understand what he's saying. If you didn't read that speech, then you don't quite know what he's saying. But In other words, he trying to say that King, in other words, he trying to reject even what I said on our slavery reparation show about Dr. King said, even in the end, 2 months before King died, he said, you know what? No, black people need reparation even before civil rights. And guess what? That's pretty much true. Because we don't have no enforced civil rights. They got it wrote down on paper, 1968 Civil Rights Act. But guess what else they got? Now they done took that act and they bastardizing it. Now black people can't even get their civil rights enforced. Now they got a white homosexual talking about this his civil right, his booty hole. His sexual orientation. Now they didn't put him, like ministers say, you benefited off the civil rights movement, and they benefit more because white homosexuals actually think I'm finna listen to them. They actually think that black men fixing to listen to what they got to say when they not even men. Now you done let the cat out of the bag. You ain't even a man. You know why? Because you hate yourself. You've been teaching black people that all their life. Black people are self-haters. They haters of self and kind. So that's why I don't subscribe to groupthink. I listen to everything everybody got to say, but I don't subscribe to groupthink, period. And as I keep struggling through life, I realize that you are the one that are haters of self and kind. You hate yourself. Who in there? What kind of man would cut his dick off? What kind of man would, after he cut his off, he want to go tell, son, I think you should do this too. I think my son should be, and son, go tell your black friends they can be, in other words, you spreading this madness all around the world and talking about Kanye. Look at what Caucasian men are doing. Ain't nobody got nothing to say about what Caucasian men are doing. But they want to sit up here and talk about Kanye hate the Jews. And this person hate the Jews. Everybody hate black folks. Everybody. But anyway, it's just, I just cannot imagine Caucasian people actually sitting down, especially when they ain't trying to do right. Now, Gavin Newsom, he's saying that, okay, everybody do reparations, and they saying that he gonna try to convince all the other 50 states that you need to pay black people. Okay, the black guy sitting up at the table, I forgot his name, Red. He said he done figured out all the calculations that if every black person get $250,000, that gonna come up to $15 trillion. Well, I don't know where you get your figures from, because I figured that if all black people get $5 million, and I said this on our show, if all black people from man, woman, child, all get $5 million, that would be $60 trillion. And you about to have a fit. Donald Trump spent $10 trillion when he was in office. Now you sitting up here thinking you smart, talking about, and I ain't taking off for Joe Biden. I'm just trying to show you that I don't subscribe to groupthink. Now you want to sit here and try to convince me that the Democrats tore this economy up. The Democrats and the Republicans did this. First of all, Donald J. Trump is the one that had the pandemic. He talking about he left this country in good condition. How can you leave a country in good condition and the pandemic still going on? People still sick. People still dying. What you mean you left this country in a good condition? The pandemic, the plague happened up under your watch. You closed all these businesses down. You did all this. You did it. Joe Biden is almost like pain. That's how pain operates. Sometimes, it's like right now, if you go out there and get in a car accident, right? It might total your car. You might not even feel bad, but notice how they always bring the ambulance out and say, hey, at least go to the doctor because this pain might not start today, it might not be tomorrow, it might be next year. That's the way I look at the economy. See, the pain was happened, it was already there, and then the pandemic made it worse, and then 2 years later, everything seemed like it's falling apart under Biden, but that stuff started with Trump. The pandemic happened under Trump. Do you understand that? So you can't make me believe. I did study a little economics, but I didn't pay a lot of attention. But you can't make me believe for 1 second that he had something to do with this. Because see, sometimes pain don't hit this year. The pandemic happened. All the businesses closed up. Everything was closed down. Don't you know that eventually that's going to have an effect on something? It was having an effect then. Well, don't you know that you talking about when Biden gave out all the checks? Nope. Trump gave out all the checks. Biden gave out checks, but people also had a lot of money saved up from staying in their house. That's more money that you put into the economy. It's a combination of things. But the point that I'm trying to make is this. See, that's why I say, if I had to put another book in the Bible, it would be number 67, hypocrisy. That's what's wrong with this country. Too many hypocrites. Too many hypocrites. Now, the Republicans is over the house. What they doing now? Well, we finna investigate Joe Biden. We fixing to impeach him. See what I'm saying? About these people. They ain't interested in we the people. They don't give a damn about what we have to go through with, but they want us to vote for them. And you barely got into the Republicans barely got that house. So that should tell them something right there. People tired of this mess. People tired of this garbage. It ain't like the old days. It ain't like the oldie go-to days. This is a whole new day. People online, people on the internet, people on social media. A lot of people pay attention to social media. It ain't like the oldie go-to. We had two stations, CNN and Fox or whatever else, your CBS or whatever you looking at. No, people got all kind of outlets that they can listen to and subscribe to and listen to different opinions. And people, one thing people figuring out, all of you are full of it. We ain't got no Democrat party. We ain't got no Republican party. We got one party, and it's called Godless.
And that's, see, and that, and that's like, you know, I mean, really. You know, America is not designed for what people are trying to pretend they, and we're here to make sure that we don't become known as what you seem to be doing. And it's terrible. I mean, it's like you don't have that puts you in an animal category when you don't even care for your own children. See, most of these problems is coming from Caucasian children. Then the old people are so old and so confused. I'm shocked that Caucasians don't have no real influential leader that's leading the country to something great. They don't even want to be you know. How you gonna dehumanize your birth canal? How you gonna? God is the only sure thing that you can cling to, and really from the very beginning. But the reason why earth exists according to the Bible is because the devil was kicked out of heaven. He didn't just fly out of heaven. God kicked him out of heaven. And if you want to get on down real to the raw deal, you know, why isn't a hint to the wise sufficient if you're wise? What profits you to not want to see your own children forever and ever? What kind of feeling is that? What kind of feeling is it to have a child and just say, well, okay, I'm going to throw you over into the cesspool? And that's what is happening to American children. And American children are children, not just Caucasian. American children are children who live as an American, who live as a righteous person. American children are children that aspire to the greatness of being alive, the greatness of being able to treat each other like human beings, the admiration, the dedication to stop wars. You know, America should have got to a point right now to have stopped world wars. They still, you know, and all because of homosexuality. You know what I mean? You really, I just cannot believe no one to be that crazy. But there are some honest things about Caucasians. They tell us about Einstein. They say, well, Einstein, we put him in an institution. That's what took him out of here. I mean, really. But it's in a book. But now, like when we first came aboard, so to speak, when you mention judge, like all these people into law authority positions, they don't even do their job. Never did it. I just thought that they maybe by now, after you done did all of this and you look around, why don't you just do what's right? Why don't you just do what's right? That's what America is about. What's right? That's why they come here and work. So I feel I don't want none of them to think that I would be in the same room with you, cutting off their children's breasts and stuff. No, I never had a lot of dealing with Latinos. My dealing was with Caucasians. I was raised in Selma, Alabama, where we strived for civil rights. And then it didn't come, but that's the reason why. That's why I had hope in the country. Well, God has always been good, regardless of how terrible it is. Because God has been the only person I know that gives anyone a decent game, a decent play. God is the only somebody to give you your rights, that make you feel like you feel. God is the one that comes from. And so, we just, not right now, this stuff about homosexuality, that's a security risk. It's not healthy to be known around the world. I heard that Obama was over in Africa trying to talk to a person who run a whole country, a president in Africa, talking about homo. He told me that's not an issue here. What is you talking about? And he over here, he's not even black, Obama. He in Time magazine. Come on, he won't one up, really. And then we got a so-called majority rule everywhere. These people come out there. I learned this from Minister, but these people crawled out of the APA book a few years ago. And then that's just like, then it got to a point here, supposed to be law and order president. Wouldn't even give Hillary Clinton a chance to rehabilitate herself. No, look, I'm talking about, asking about where's the law. I thought you're supposed to be the law and order, and then you ain't got enough sense to know who needs what. What's going on? And then people, but it's good to know these things, because now I know. I always knew there was something wrong. I just could never figure out what it was.
And like ministers say, black people, I just wish you would be quiet. And what I mean by wish you be quiet, if you got to say that there's no systemic racism, that's a shame before God you would say that. So you saying that this man, so you already say that you believe me and minister lying about everything. So you saying that here's another man, he got a case very similar to ours. And he said that he was homeless on the street with his family. This man got 4 children, him and his wife and family on the street. He had to serve in the military. They wouldn't give him his compensation. He had financial hardship. He couldn't seek no type of medical care. And he said he suffered severe emotional harm when he was forced to repeat the most traumatic parts of his life. But he fought for this country overseas. Now he got to fight them, and he got to keep reapplying for something that is Uncle Sam promised him. And he said he suffered his dignity as a man. He suffered reputational harm as a man because the VA discriminated against him. He felt like he was less than a man with his children, with his wife. And so you think he lying? Then you got Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump walking around talking about there's no systemic racism. Right now, black people are due slavery reparations, and you gonna have to pay it. This is time out for this BS. You walk around toting Obama around. I'm like, well, I know what black people need. Black people need to be homosexual. So everything will be okay. You know, Obama was supposed to make sure that we get reparations. Nah, Obama say he gonna help the white man because the businesses are too big to fail. He think we done forgot about that. Now he over there talking about how much racism it is. He think this is a game, him and his old wife. They think this is a game to play with black people life. They think this is a game to play with black people children. But you mark my word. You mark my word, Michelle and Barack Obama. Them two daughters that you got, you done did everything in your power to destroy black boys and black girls. You gonna see it again through them. And you mark those words. And I guarantee you that. So you planted this seed against black children, and that seed gonna come back up for your children too.
Well, we know that won't do nothing to a person as insensitive about human civilization as that. But we don't have time to. We don't get no pleasure out of watching out of waiting on your children to mess up their life. You know, it just look like, by you being a president. But you just once occupied the seat, at least once you got out of the seat, you could at least try to be decent.
Okay, let me say this. That's not what I'm saying. I heard you make a statement then, you were saying that a person like him not going to be able to feel nothing. Let me tell you something. The God I serve, he can bust anybody down. Anytime. See, Obama walking around, I know what you're saying, that he walking around acting like a little punk. That he acting just like ain't nothing going on. But let me tell you something. God know how to hit you where it hurt it. Don't think that he's above what God got for him. Because what God got for him, baby, he ain't going to be able to be walking around pouncing around all over the place trying to pretend this and pretend that. Now he walking around talking about racism and how dirty white folks is. He live in the most Caucasian white community in America, the richest community in America, Martha's Vineyard. He live in the richest community in America, Caucasian. Ain't no black people out there. Okay, so don't let Obama fool you with all that talk he doing. Eyes have come this far to turn around. It's a shame before God what Obama did. And I tried to tell people when Obama first popped his behind out there doing all that talking, and we don't have time for no experimentation. Obama not fixing to do nothing for black people. And I was telling black people that Obama not fixing to do anything for you. So you can hang it up. And this man is filing his lawsuit on the Federal Tort Claims Act. The claims that he is filing out there is number 1, negligence. Number 2, negligent infliction of emotional distress and negligent supervision. And he's also filing a lawsuit in behalf of his father. They didn't pay his father his benefits, and he served in World War II.
Yeah, I guess, life is just too valuable to just be stalling. Sometimes I fantasize, daydream about what would America be working on if it wasn't working on so much foolishness. What kind of government would we have if it was a righteous government? What kind of life would we have if we just had people with common sense? Our job is to reform the earth, the planet Earth. That's our purpose in life. It's not to pretend, talking about you an old fuzzy faced man talking about you finna be a woman. I mean, how and then even if a man could be a woman, and we got enough women already. We got too many women. I won't say too many, but there's a lot of women. So at the same time, if you think a man gonna go with another man, what kind of person would what kind of person would just do that? And then you got a government. You got a government that's indulging. But the Caucasian people, we need something. We need to talk to that. Who's leading them? When they say they, that was my word. When I say they, that's Caucasian. Now I hear what Caucasian people saying they. Who are they talking to? And we live in a society that say majority rule. Honesty is your best policy.
And this veteran,
one more thing, we need reparation
he came out of a family of black service members. You know, all his brothers served in the Marines. He served in the Marines, and he was seriously wounded. He was promoted to Lance Corporal. He was seriously wounded while he was in the Marine Corps, and for 50 years he couldn't get his benefits. You know what? This is a shame before God. This is a shame. This man was seriously wounded. This is a shame that black people, your day coming. You keep walking around here talking about ain't no systemic racism. I know, I've seen a lot of black people do that. Now they're on the front page talking about the white man won't give them no food stamps. They looking for, they did all this dirt. They won't even give them food stamps. Matter of fact, they some of the people that came against us. You know, you better be careful out here walking around in the community, talking about, talking about ain't no systemic racism. What you think the civil rights movement was about? What did you think that was about? There is systemic racism. They took my daughter out of the home. You'll be surprised. These people didn't use no law and no order. No, like Trump walking, he's switching his old big butt around talking about law and order. They use no law and no order. Matter of fact, they told minister on the stand, asked him on the stand, said, "Are you saying that homosexuality is immoral?" They ever let him know that if he answered it wrong, and when he answered it and said, "Well, it's in the Bible," the guy said, "Well, she gonna stay 90 to 120 more days," and this is the judge.
Yeah, and I did 2 stints. I'm not pretending I was such a this, that, or other, but I did get an honorable discharge. I did 2 stints in the military, and they told me that if I had been a homosexual, I wouldn't have had to go. And so now, just because I raised my child to be a Christian, and they say, well, they want her to be a homosexual Christian, and no such thing. I mean, there's
no such thing as no homosexual Christian. You can't be no Christian and be no homosexual.
And that's just the way they go. But then the American government is paying homosexual ministers to tell lies about the only living Son of God. I mean, and then you wonder why then you start talking everything is great. Everything is great. You know, and that's what we come in at right there. You know, we as descendants of slaves, we need to get paid our money so we can help save this world. Basically, that's what it all boils down to. And then, how you feel like if we had money, what we gonna spend it at? Excuse me, I don't want to get upset, but where we gonna spend money?
And I remember when Trump first went into office, he said the only way you can get rid of your enemy, you got to name your enemy. Well, we named systemic racism. He got on TV, ain't no systemic racism. That's what I'm saying. How you gonna name your enemy and the president of the United States gonna come forward and say that what you saying is a lie? Now we got Joe Biden over there talking about you better affirm your child's gender. If your boy say he a girl, you better go along with it. If your boy say if your girl says she a boy, you better go along with it. He said you better affirm your child's gender, and he said he got some gender affirmation care for them. Just talk homosexual talk.
Homosexual talk in the government, and then we call ourselves got leaders. But we went to D.C. looking for Ben Carson over HUD, to try to get a place to stay so we can so I can find some legal help to get my daughter. Come to find out, I mean, it is pitiful the way. I'm just hoping that I'm the one crazy. Like that trips me out when they be saying like Kanye is crazy and all this stuff that people are doing. But people are calling each other crazy now. But it's written. But what fascinates me is the Bible itself. You know what I mean? It's actually all this stuff that's going on right now is actually in the Bible. God did it without his hands through the inspiration of his prophets. It's written. And then I studied the Quran for a while, and then see God has visited this place in all areas, all the time. And it's a shame before God that man is missing his mark. But look like it's boiled down to black people and their reparations. See, we're not even from Africa. All I hear now, the motherland Africa. Black people is from Asia. You know, but you don't ever hear it because the truth is just not. The truth is what shaped, is what made this universe. The truth of God is what brought this about. The truth of God is what's here now. And we as the best, we're supposed to be the best. I ain't never been second in nothing. You know, my class was like a high school class, but I graduated first in that class. You know, and then again, I could tell you some things about I wish I had degrees and stuff like a lot, like ministers. See how she put the eyes right? But education, I don't know. Everybody got a story to tell, but don't nobody want to hear it, okay? We got, the problem here now is we need our money so we can build our country. So we can build our country the way God intended for it to be built. And you should be that. Really, because if we weren't here, what would you be doing? I mean, seriously.
When this man filed this lawsuit, he's 74 years old. It's a shame. And y'all think it's supposed to be something cute. You around here giving an old white man some money because he a transgender, giving him $1,200 a month. This man that fought for this country. A homosexual don't do nothing. Yeah, they go to school. That's about it. But after school, they don't do nothing. You sitting around here, this man that fought for this country. You go on tell me you gonna give him some transgender money, $1,200 a month.
Well, I tell you what. Now I gotta talk this over. You know, me and Minister, we talks a lot, but I don't want to just say something on the radio that I should be saying. But hey, in a way of speaking, if I get the word, as far as I'm concerned, I always didn't want to go to California, you know, because I always thought the earthquakes would get you. But you know, but the way things are now, hey, I don't know. If I hear a few more words, we might be headed out west to see the cowboy.
I don't know about all that.
When they say reparations, they got my ear. Because that's what we need in order to build. I tell you what, we'll remake California. Hollywood will be what it was meant to be. But at the same time, we got to take this one day at a time. But Lord have mercy. America, we're supposed to be in the world. We're not Europeans. And one thing we need to do is either we get our own pope or they need to do something about the pope over there in Europe. You know, this ain't working.
And this lawsuit that Mr. Conley F. Monk Jr. filed, he calling for all his missed benefits that they be paid back to him all the way back to 1970. And he want all his daddy's benefits. And he want the thousands of other black veterans to get their benefits, plus he want reparations. And he got a good point. And you keep sitting around talking about, and the Bible say, Proverbs 14:9, only a fool would mock at reparations. These are Republicans, they identify as Republicans, try to say that they conservative, they Christian. Well, I don't believe black people should have, I don't have nothing to do with what my people did. See, that's what I'm saying. You're not reading the Bible. God goes up to 4 generations. You got everything to do with your people. You have all my life, people have always identified me as, you know who daughter that is. That's Willow Owens' daughter. But now when it come down to me saying he go to slave on the son, I don't even know them people that died long. Well, you finna get to know them. I bet you that.
Now see, Melissa do have a past that is what I would call very accomplished. So that's why I want to. You know, we have a lot of interesting things to talk about. Her father was the mayor of Selma. It's a certain kind of mayor, but I think it has a lot. I mean, it's really significant. It's significant.
He was an honorary mayor.
Yeah, exactly.
Honorary. What he did was he used to have a lot of favors with the mayor, Joe Smithman. get people tickets wrote off. My daddy used to help people with their tickets. They'll go right around the corner and talk about him like a dog.
But he did have that he had that power now to go and take care of your ticket.
Yeah.
And then the
they would go right behind his back and talk about him, and that's why you hear people now saying, well, you know, her daddy kept Joe Smithman, and that same people that he helped out. That's how people are though. And then guess what? And the people that did all the talking about him, they voted for Joe Smithman. Joe Smithman could have been mayor of Selma without black people voting for him.
Really?
No.
Because the inner city of Selma is majority black.
Yeah. He could have been mayor.
The demographics of it.
So they used to use him as a fall guy. I said, well, you know, Willie Owens kept Joe Smithman up there. And then when I ran for a seat, they said, well, you know who that is. He kept Joe Smithman. They want to pretend like now they finna listen to Perkins, because Perkins is a black man, and he going around telling them that I just need Jean to stay here because she gonna promote a black program. Now she an 80-year-old white woman. He going around the community taking Jean's hand, putting her in circles and praying for her with black people against me, and telling them that Jean gonna promote the black folk program. Don't vote for me because my daddy was a Joe boy. He was a punk. He was this, he was that. And I know Perkins don't want to start talking about who dad is a punk. We really want to start talking about that. Melissa met a man a couple of weeks ago that was familiar with your daddy. You know, I know you don't want to start talking about the daddy thing now. But this man, James Perkins Jr., he walked the streets of Selma, Alabama, and told everybody that my daddy was a punk. You know who daughter that is. She not gonna do anything. That she working for Joe Smithman. I ain't never worked for Joe Smithman. I don't even know what he talking about. But see, I learned in life that. But one thing I had to learn in life that I didn't really fully understand was I was in the game whether I went like I was saying. I wasn't working for Joe Smithman, but in a lot of ways, I just didn't understand that I was already in the game from my dad's perspective, from my granddad's perspective, you know, from so many perspectives, but our people don't teach us that. But see, Perkins some type of way, he understood that, and that's when he walked around in the community. Other people probably understood that. But you know, I was just a 25-year-old person, just want to make a difference in my community, because I know Rose and Hank wasn't doing nothing. I know Perkins wasn't doing that. And so, and then, but I know one thing, he definitely was hyping on that stuff about somebody being a punk. And then I found out that that's what he is.
You see, and that's what has killed. That's what hasn't killed the black community, but you see, now we can really write about the history of what happened. Where are we going from here? Because we can't go any further down the road of perdition. God will lift this curse off of America if America needs to pay us our money. It's as simple as that.
And this man got exposed to Agent Orange. Y'all know about Agent Orange, don't you? They denied he still denied him his benefit for 50 years.
Agent Orange, it affects your children and everything.
And the Agent Orange got so bad, he developed diabetes. They did this man like a dog. And then, come to find out, they did his daddy the same way. See look how nasty these people are. And then you got the president like Trump talking about, and that's the only, I don't know whether to say decent, but that seemed to be the only decent thing about Biden. Biden will say that there is systemic racism. Biden will say, even though he is the head systemic racism, he the head Klansman back with the crime bill. But I'm saying, he will say what you want to hear. I mean, you got to admit it, that you do want to hear that as a black person. You don't want no Caucasian man as old as Trump. He walking around talking about make America great again. You seem like you talking about you finna make America white again. So people was absolutely right about what they were saying pertaining to him. In other words, he proved He didn't even try to get in the office and disprove that. He proved that these people had him on target. And I contacted Donald J. Trump's office about so many times. FBI, ABI. Now all of a sudden they talking bad about the FBI, but when we was trying to tell people that the FBI, we trying to get an investigation going. They promised to do an investigation. FBI minister called back. They didn't tell me that. Minister called back and he said, well, how long? Yeah, okay, hold on, buddy. He came back. Yeah, how long your daughter been gay? See what the man at the FBI was talking about. I'm saying this is kind of bullshit.
They took her out of my home, out of our home, and she was just 13 years old, just beginning. And because of the way things were, because of our job, it's so difficult to even speak about. But I apologize to God every day that it took that for me to understand the seriousness of the problems that we have in this country. I knew it was something, and this is where we start.
I'm so glad. I just thank God for this. I thank God, for the people that's coming forward now. Just like you can sit over there. I know Governor Newsom ain't no good. I know he done tore up California. But I thank God, whatever is like this, he just doing it to get the black vote. Hey, that's a good way to get the black vote. But I thank God. See, I don't care. See, a person can come out like they finna play, right? He can be playing, but God will turn that into a reality. You see, like y'all was saying, oh, Donald Trump will never be president. You gave him all the airtime, he was president. See, that's the God I serve. Newsom might be playing, but I thank God that he came forward and said what he said. Because, God works that's why people say God works in mysterious ways. I thank God for this man right here, Conley Monk. I'm sorry that he didn't get his benefits and stuff, but I thank God that this man is coming forward. He said, you're going to pay us reparations. I thank God he's using that term reparation. That's true. You just doing all kinds of stuff to black people. You discriminate against them in the VA system. You discriminate against us in the school system. When I was going to prison, which prison the pipeline, if it weren't for my grandparents, I probably would be nothing now, really, to tell you the truth. But a lot of my friends dropped out of high school. A lot of them is gone and dead. We need reparation for the school to prison pipeline. We need reparation for the slavery reparation. We need reparation for the 1994 crime bill. That affected minister. He was one of them people they drew in the net. They ain't have no business bothering him. He had been an honest life for 20 years. My grandmama, she remember when they brought him from Alabama. Even my grandma remember because she said they had it on the news, from Michigan to Alabama. And at the time, you see this stuff, but you don't really know that this is a crime bill. I'm thinking, wow, I like Bill Clinton. I didn't realize that Bill Clinton, we like the Bill Clinton because of what? The earned income credit. You know how simple our mind is when you think about reparation. But we just look at how these people that messed up our lives, our family. They owe us reparation for slavery reparations. The veterans benefits reparation, the 1994 crime bill reparation, the prison to pipeline reparation. You owe us. That's why I keep telling you, you sitting up on my news station with fake news. Just like Fox and CNN, that belong to us. Now when you tell people that, oh Lord, they crazy. You the one crazy, cause that stuff belong to you. That belong to you. They using your station, feeding you fake news, and then won't even report no news. These people won't even report about CPS. They over there talking about they finna get some trans children. They finna go and cut some children off. They finna butcher children. They finna castrate children. They finna molest children. They groomers. You're a groomer. Homosexuals are groomers.
Well, basically,
and when this man really check into his stuff, he'll find out them homosexuals were playing with his file.
Yeah, it's pitiful. They don't do nothing.
He said
They destroy families.
He said his family was on the street, sleeping on the street for 2 years. That's a shame before God somebody can go and fight for this country like that. Got seriously wounded. This man was seriously wounded. Got Hotel Agent on. And he wasn't just no man sitting up typing on the computer. He was combat. He was a combat veteran. His dad was a combat veteran. All his brothers served in the military. But he filing for him, his brothers, and anybody else that was treated wrong. And that's just good.
I feel sorry and think about my oldest brother. He did 2 or 3. I couldn't even figure stuff happening so fast. He did two stints in Vietnam, in combat.
Yeah.
And he could not. His life just swindled when he came home.
What you mean?
Well, he just drank and spoke different languages.
Yeah.
I just echo. I remember one saying this in my Halle Lamaka. He went to Germany. He came back drinking. Talking about Halle Lamaka. What that mean? I have no idea. But he said it. He talked about it all the time.
And these people over here, I hear some of them talking about, them old crazy veterans. These old crazy veterans. They go over there, they shoot people, they watch people die. If you sit there and watch somebody die, everybody I ever known went to the military, developed a drug habit or a drinking habit or some type of crack habit. They developed a habit. Because you don't know what people see. Then they come over here, then you start talking about, oh, you black. Oh, no, you ain't getting no benefit. And during the time when Minister was going to the military, Minister said all the white boys was going to Paris. Now he goes to the veterans office to get his benefits. White boys sitting up in there. So how can they be in Paris and fighting too? I can't understand that.
Well, here's the thing though now, and this comes from people who was in the military. The people, like the officers that was in the military, they wouldn't let their children get drafted. They'll send them to Canada or somewhere to dodge the draft.
And then let me say one more thing. Excuse me, because I know you want me to say that. Minister went over to the veterans. The veterans were supposed to represent us in court with our daughter, right? Made us think they were going to go to court. And guess what they did? In the end, they said that the funding had got low. He a veteran now. The veterans were supposed to represent us with this case. They were acting like, well, yeah, this is a good case. We're going to represent you. And then in the end, they couldn't do it. And what I figured out was they blackballed us in Michigan. But that's a shame. Look at what we had to go through. If the veterans had just represented us in court, this wouldn't have happened. They wouldn't do that. And right now, I done sat down and I done tabulated up all my stuff. You owe us, the Newman family alone, you owe us $2 billion. And I'm going to tell you something else. You can laugh out there, you can grin, because you know what my granddaddy told me. When I used to come to him, I said, Granddaddy, they teasing me about my clothes at school. My granddaddy used to tell me, Felicia, you got to have character. She said, because I'm going to tell you something about the Lord. And I used to say to myself, oh, Lord, here you go with the Lord. He said, the Lord, you keep doing your work and you do right. You go to school, you get married. The Lord going to turn he said, that laugh they got, the Lord going to turn it upside down. And that's true. That's true. And I'm telling you, you can sit out there, you can laugh and grin at me and my husband. You can say we crazy. You can say, oh, ain't nobody gonna pay you $2 billion, but you watch. Well,
I used to talk to her grandfather, not all the time, because he was a very busy man. Before I even met Minister, I saw this old man walking down the street, and I didn't know who he was, but he was selling insurance. He was an insurance salesman. But then, as I got to know him, the one thing that really hurt me is that he came from the crazy age to the courageous age because of, his dealings with the civil rights movement. But he told me, he said, well, that he probably would get credit for something in the next world. And he was actually feeling like that. Now, that's what the civil rights, he wasn't satisfied. He tried to get some money from Clinton. And not Clinton's over there. Clinton over there, he was just trying to improve Selma. And Clinton over there wearing the blue dress. That's
well,
problem.
what happened was Bill Clinton came to Selma.
Yeah.
And my granddaddy, they wanted the surviving courageous 8 members to be on the stage. And my granddaddy was on the stage. Everybody be used to him always writing. He wrote something. But my granddaddy think he important anyway. He took the letter and he told the Secret Service man to give us the claim. And my grandma was anyway, they were going to take him into custody because they thought that he was doing a ransom. And they said, no, that's Reverend Hunter. But on the letter, this is what he wrote on the letter. He said, I'm J.D. Hunter, Mr. Clinton. I fought in the Civil Rights Movement and I need $1 million to repair these dilapidated houses. He said, I got a crew in place. And I guess he was talking about you. He said, I got everything in place. I just need $1 million to repair these dilapidated houses. And I guess that's what he was talking about. Yeah, that was kind of funny.
Yeah, he actually, he was an accomplished man. He used to talk about. Well, it was a story behind him and his struggles. But it's just shameful that we don't pay the ones that really fight for us.
That's what they are used to doing, minister. You know, that's just like this man right here, Mr. Conley Monk Jr. And that's what I like about him. This man 74 years and he throwing his blow at them. You know, he said they did my daddy like this. This man's talking about his daddy. He said they did my daddy like, and that's what I keep telling. That's what I discovered about Caucasian people. You all think that you can keep doing stuff to people, and you think you're gonna get away with it. You're not gonna get away with this. We're tired of this. We're not fixing to be homosexual. If you want to be a homosexual, go be one. Give us our money, and we'll just do whatever we need to do. We'll pay us our money. That's right. You know, and then, but my point is, don't be sitting around me thinking I'm finna be no sissy. I'm not finna be no sissy. You can get up every day and talk about you gay all you want to. You on your own. It's a shame before God. Minister got every benefit in the country pertaining to the veterans, and the veterans wouldn't even represent us in court. They ought to be, and now they sitting around talking about the veterans that open up a study to try to find out they trying to find out how this discrimination started. Yeah, you for real? It ain't never stopped. You owe this man right now $1 million. It ain't never stopped. Now they finna use some more money. They want to sit up, and this guy right here told him, he said, you can do many studies as you want, but I'm moving forward with my lawsuit. I don't have time for that. I know what you do to black people. And that's right. And then we got people in Congress right now. They can legislate homosexuality. They can codify same-sex marriage. They can do all this stuff. But when it comes down to reparations, they got a commission, HR 40 committee. They need to study it. What you studying? What you studying? Did it happen or did it not happen?
But now, me talking to minister here brought me into a new light I never been in before. That I never considered the fact that Caucasian people just truly are self-haters or even themselves. See, there's something wrong with you.
Really? Anytime a man, you sitting around here talking about Kanye, I ain't got over the fact that you actually whacking your dick off. And I can't believe this stuff is written. Deuteronomy 23:1 say a man that cut his penis off, if he not an Enoch, in other words, if you ain't born with a deformity, you ain't got no business you ain't got no business not having a dick there and you a man. See, that's how some people are born. You born with one, you cutting it off, God said you will not enter into the kingdom. That's hatred for yourself. Because if a man do that to himself, he's sick. He's a psycho.
It's suicide. Really. See, I know suicide is sin.
And then, if a man grown, just like people say, me personally, I don't talk to them. I'm talking to younger people. I ain't gonna waste my time talking to no old sister. I guess that's why they mad, because we say that. So they say, well, I'm going to mess with your children. See, they know that'll get people up and get their attention. Because other than that, who going to pay attention to a fool walking around telling me he a wrong? And they are literal fools. And then Zuckerberg, he's sitting over there on Facebook talking about hate speech. Hate speech is protected under this First Amendment, baby. What you got to do? You above the Constitution? Oh, so you like Trump now? You finna tear up the Constitution? And look, mighty how times and change. Oh, Trump, he wants to cut up the Constitution and the flag now. When we was over there talking about what the criminal justice system was doing to us, he was over there talking about ain't no systemic racism. You know, he sent his own wide ass around talking about ain't no systemic racism. Oh. Then he went and got Bill Barr. Bill Barr said, nah, ain't no systemic racism. And then Bill Barr went and got, then when Trump said it was some systemic racism, they went and got Bill Barr and put him on a deposition. They asked him, he said, it ain't no systemic racism. See, Bill Barr is carrying his right on through. He probably really believed it. But Trump say everything's systemic now. See, he don't like the FBI, but he liked the FBI when they was over there asking Milson, was his daughter gay? How long your daughter been gay? Now this the FBI now.
Yeah, see, and that right there, it's terrible to hear about a country. You know the country got problems, but when you find out that we have to. In other words, we just have to take this one day at a time and just really pray to God. Pray to the God that created the heavens and the earth. You know what I mean? And just like, I don't even understand how Caucasian people could be so evil unless that was evil what they did to have a picture of Jesus as being Caucasian. But to me, they should have been more moral-minded than we are. Because they, the only problem, and perhaps it is meant to be that a person should have a God their own color, and then to get into a color thing with Jesus Christ. We said this 20 years ago. It might not be good to get into color, but at the same time, we got charged in a court of law in Selma, Alabama, the cradle of the civil rights movement. We got charged in a court of law in broad daylight for not being a homosexual. Okay, we real estate brokers got charged with taking a mirror out of a house. This is how it started. Now, and that's our job.
By the first black district attorney of Selma, Alabama, under the administration of James Perkins Jr.
Right.
And he say, who a punk now?
And that's how this started. But we're gonna just take a break here. But we enjoy talking with stuff like that. But we got to take us a break. But we'll be back shortly. Melissa, unless you could just take it from here.
Well, only thing I can say is, guess you all hear my southern accent. I'm from the South, and I just decided not to. I know a lot of people move up north and they change their, vocabulary, but I just decided, just be me. So, and I ain't saying that what you talking about, you finna be you. Being you, being you is being you. And what I mean by being you is yourself. If you're a man, be a man. If you're a woman, be a woman. You saying that you gonna go whack yourself off. Now you being you. Now you feel like this is you, and that's shameful that the government is promoting stuff like that, and then they promoting this stuff with children. It's like you talking about trans children. Chloe Cole, she started socially transitioning at 12, 13 years old. She got her breast. She started taking puberty blocking drugs at 14. She got her breast taken off at 15. At 16, she want them back. And ain't nobody talking about that. That's why I say, you are fake news. You know, that's worth reporting. There are 100 trans children. Oh, they shooting up the club. That comes from these people with their rhetoric. Oh, you talking about the Bible? God say, God got his laws and rules and regulations, like ministers say. That stuff is written. You know, where you going with this?
Really, that would fascinate me even to this day. But I'm glad it's written. But it teaches me more about the next life, the next world. But I don't like this. But then I learned years ago we're supposed to be doing the best we can here. And this life that God really granted us, we're supposed to do something with it. It's not just it's in other words, it's the nucleus of time, you could say. That's what, you know, you can't take life and do anything with it. But one of the most fascinating things, like this Chloe girl that they chopped her breast out, she had begun to look like a guy. But that's just to show you the magnificence of God. How was this person was created? It's so many things that involve a human being. But I don't know. They treat us like this because we are supposed to be 3/5 of a human being according to the Constitution. But at the same time, it looks like we should. You know, we don't want no Harvard graduates coming out talking about they want to be a homosexual slave. This is a Harvard graduate. This is like something else. And then, my main concern, because of the younger generations that's coming up in America, you don't want people around the world to view you in certain lights, because it's nasty, really. It's nasty. We're supposed to be stopping war. It shouldn't be a war on this planet right now. If the Caucasian people had any, if they just knew that man's mind is infinite.
I thought you was fixing to close out.
Well, there's always something to talk about, but I want to let you close. I mean, I can close out when you get ready.
Well, we just got to remember that our main purpose here is we are all a part of God's original and divine plan. And our children are our legacy, and we must understand that God did not create anybody by accident or coincidence. Look what happened to Chloe Cole. See, she's a witness barrier to what we are talking about, what we are speaking about. And it's a shame that stuff had to get to that point. And then you all got enough nerve, these news stations, you sitting up on your faggot behind talking about the trans children. You leave these children the hell fuck alone, really. I'm really sick of you. And I'm telling you, I have petitioned the death angels here on you. Anybody that's participating in this, I have petitioned the death angels from on high. Now the death angels can't come and render death. God is the one that has to deploy them here. But I'm telling you, I petition these things because I'm tired of the things that I see. And I'm tired of people that don't do nothing. They get, you know, like in other words, why is it that Caucasian people want to steal, want to take credit for things good when things go bad in the country? Well, you know, that's in the black community. Want to put stuff on us? We're not no sisters. We ain't got nothing to do with no homosexuality. That's you all. Everything that go on, majority rule until stuff is bad. When it's bad, well, you know, black folks is the criminals. They got a propensity toward violence. You the one that's got a propensity toward violence. You the one in the Senate. You the one in the House. You the one that's writing the laws, making the laws, and passing the laws. And the president is signing the laws. Okay, so don't be thinking you talking to no fool about what's going on with the country. God, I want to leave off with this. God created 3 divine institutions. Number 1, home, marriage, family. Number 2, the government. Number 3, the church. He created the family, marriage, man, woman first, because society could not exist in that case without the family. We gonna go around here. We gonna set up the government. We gonna set up. Okay, and then when you get through setting all that up, now man and woman ain't procreating no more. So what's gonna happen? You're gonna become extinct overnight. Do you know how many babies have to be born every day to keep this society going? Do you know? I'll tell you next time, but you're going to be surprised. We got to have a certain amount of babies in this country to keep this society from going extinct. And the next time I see you, I'm going to tell you, or you tell me, I already know. I'm going to see what you find out. With all that being said, God bless you. God keep you. Our information is there. Our contact information is there. Our donation information is there. PayPal.me/USCOG. Meaning Universal Church of God. And you can contact us via Twitter, Facebook, email, whatever. I mean, telephone number. All our information is there. God bless you. God keep you. Minister, please close us out in prayer.
Just one thing before prayer. With donations, we can show you a lot better than we can tell you. And that's the gift of life. Oh God, we seek that refuge from anxiety and grief. We seek that refuge from lack of strength and laziness. We seek that refuge from cowardness and niggardliness. We seek that refuge from being overpowered by death and the oppression of the devil. O God, suffice thou with us with what is lawful, to keep us away from that which is prohibited. And with thy grace, make us free from want, from what is besides thee. In the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you. God keep you. Please tune in for our Bible study and please tune in for our podcast.